Do you ever feel like you're a walking injury just waiting to happen? And every time you go running, you have to be careful about your running form, your running volume, your intensity. It's like you're running on eggshells. But back pain, knee pain, hip pain can all be caused by one essential group of muscles that is central to our running function. Pause the video and comment right now if you think you know what group of muscles I'm talking about. It's the gluteus muscles, the butt muscles. I hope you guessed it because it's in the title of the video. And it's the focus muscle of almost all sports. It's the largest muscle in the human body. And in fact, fun fact, we have proportionally the largest butt muscle in the whole animal kingdom. Bigger than monkeys, bigger than hippos. So of course, we train it as recommended and exercise it as much as we can for better performance and reduced injury. But I think this is going to shock you. The classic exercises like hip thrusts, squats, and other step-ups might not be the right ones for running. Now, not only am I going to explain to you why, but I'm also going to give you the exercises that have been tested on real-life runners for better results, better performance, and less injuries. And I'm not only going to show you how they made them, but also how I think I made it better with exercise progressions to make it, a little harder, more challenging, if you need to. Don't hurt yourself. Salut, c'est Safe Motions. When contracting the glute maximus, you will see a hip extension, which is that movement. However, that is not what the glutes do when you run. They don't help much at all bringing that leg back. They're not much of a propulsing muscle in running. So you're doing your hip thrusts, your leg extensions, your squats, your step-ups, all of which are more like propulsive movements. So they're not really relatable to running. I'm not saying they're not important or that they're bad for running. They are very important, but they're not very functional for running. In fact, squeezing your butt when you run could actually hurt your back. Bear with me for just a second while I explain to you what the glute maximus muscles actually do for runners. Now, this is only for flat surface running. It doesn't work for uphills. In uphills, we really need to recruit those push-off muscles, and the glute max are great for that. Also, a quick note, glute medius are implicated in running, and they're more of a stabilizing force sideways. But that's not the core of this video, although the exercises that I will show you today do include glute medius activation and strengthening. It's a bonus. So we all know that muscles are very good at contracting to produce movement. So for example, jumping. But these same muscles are actually very, very, very good as well at decelerating movement. So for example, in that jumping, the same muscles that help me go up will help me land softly. There will be a strong overall contraction of those propulsion muscles to absorb the shock. Because if we don't, gravity will make us bend all our joints and flop down. So in running, as much as your glute max want to swing that leg back, they also contribute much more to decelerate a leg swing forward. Specifically, they resist a knee straightening right before the foot hits the floor. This will help to prevent things like overstriding, for example. They also resist that hip flexion as you land and as you go through that initial stance phase to prevent your hip from bending too much due to the force of gravity. This probably prevents the need to do too much absorption work as you land. I mean, imagine you've got your whole body weight over on one leg. So those very specific moments in running are the true moments when you need your glute maximus to activate. So you need to train yourself to have those muscles contract just then, right before your foot lands and right in the first moments when your foot is on the floor. If you're currently squeezing your glutes as you run, I think you should probably stop doing it because this might cause back pain. You're probably squeezing your glutes as you're pushing off with the back leg. This is not when the glutes are supposed to activate. This is not where they're the most important for long distance running. However, I don't want you to focus on squeezing your glutes at any moment during your run. You do this outside of running with the exercises I'll show you. We're going to practice this in 2 steps with 4 different levels depending on where you're starting. Let's go outside and I'll show you. 1. Pre-activating the muscles. According to this study, pre-activating the muscles is paramount to performance and for injury rehabilitation. They also note, like me, that most squats, step-ups, or Olympic weightlifting do not reflect the activation patterns of running, which means that these exercises don't translate well to running. So here's what you're going to do. I'm going to put a little pad under my knee.
because I'm not very strong. So on all of those exercises, we're looking for a maximum voluntary contraction. So you want to activate it, thinking about it. It's not going to be automatic. So here, from that kneeling position, you're going to start with activating, so both sides alternating. They're both important. The glute here, first, squeeze as hard as you can. And then the opposite side, squeeze as hard as you can. Now you're gonna hold that for 3 seconds. So squeeze, hold it, 1, 2, 3, then change side. Hold it, 1, 2, 3. In that same exercise, next step, leaning forward from this position. Hold the glute on the front leg. Squeeze, 1, 2, 3. And the other leg, squeeze, 1, 2, 3. Last step here, you're going to straighten the back leg. And here, squeeze the front leg, 1, 2, 3. Squeeze the back leg, 1, 2, and 3. Next up, we're going to look for something to lean against. So for example, right here, I'm leaning against the plants. So what you're going to do is have that back foot really planted in the floor. You're going to lift the knee up, squeeze the glutes of the leg that's behind you. Squeeze, 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3. And now you're going to squeeze the front one as well. 1, 2, 3. And you'll do 3 reps of this. 1. In those studies, for pre-activation, they just recommended, or they just did, 1 set. Now, I would recommend to do maybe 2 or 3, or until you really feel like your glutes are switched on. And then you're ready for step number 2. These are the strengthening exercises. Let's dig right in. We're going to start with single-legged split squats. 1 leg in front, make sure your knee is well aligned. You're going to stand nice and upright in that running stance, and you're just going to drop the back knee down. You should have somewhat of a 90 degree at the knee and at the back. Right down and up. From the other side. Now, how many repetitions and set do you do? That really depends on each individual. I recommend that you do this for roughly 3 times 10. That's always a good number, but also mostly until your quads feel tired. So this is level 1. Let's step it up to level 2. We're going to add a little bit of challenge to that exercise, a little bit of balance challenge. Single-legged box squats. I want you to find a place to sit. So it should be a little bit higher than this. This is a bit low. But anyway, single-legged, make sure your leg is right in the axis. Sit down on that chair and stand off of it. You want to stay as controlled as possible, and if you can, also add the arm movements to it. So like a running stance, go down, up, and up. Show you from the front. Again, that's a bit low for me. I'll do my best. Here, and up. That's actually quite a hard one, so make sure the chair is higher than mine, right? Because we don't want anybody to get hurt. Now, stepping this one up, we're going to do full single-legged split squats. As per the research, standing on 1 leg. Starting from this position, just drop your knee. Let's go down to roughly 45, 50 degrees and up. You want to add a trunk rotation. So here, as if you were running. In that running stance, you even want to exaggerate it a little bit. Make sure that your hip doesn't drop. Not like this, keep it straight. And finally, for me, the most exciting, the last level, the boss level. Those same single-legged squats with a trunk rotation. This time, you're gonna hop forward, land, and keep your foot steady. Maintain everything and hold. 1 more time. You're down in your single-legged squat with trunk rotation, hop forward and land. Hold it. Stabilize from the front. Down into your squat. Hop forward and land. Hold it in your best position, and you can repeat this. Now, if all of that gets too easy for you, feel free to simply add a backpack on top.
And if you need more exercises about the glutes, or there's any injuries that you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. I might be able to help. And if you want to know in more details why the glutes activate when they do in running, then feel free to check out this video where I tell you why squeezing your glutes when you run might actually get you injured. I'll see you there. À bientôt.